Alright, let's take a look at the weirdest transfer that happened in world football every year dating back to 2005. 2005, HIDETOSHI NAKATA to Bolton. Well, this one was definitely weird. HIDETOSHI NAKATA, one of the most famous Asian footballers of all time, linking up with Bolton Wanderers at the age of 28. Now, I'm not saying that working under Big Sam was akin to spending time in the goddamn gulags, but I doubt it was a pretty picnic for such a technically gifted player. Arriving from Fiorentina on a season-long loan, it only took NAKATA 4 months to decide that this sort of brain-dead football wasn't for him, choosing to hang up his goddamn boots. Yes, Big Sam, I hope you're happy considering your Neanderthal Route 1 tactics essentially drove one of Japan's most cherished footballers into an early goddamn retirement. 2006, Carlos Tevez to West Ham. This was just mental. How's this for a summer shopping basket? Jonathan Spector, Carlton Cole, Rob Green, Tyrone MEARS and George McCartney. Oh yeah. And the deadline day signings of Carlos Tevez and Javier Mascherano, whisked straight out of Argentina's World Cup squad. Arguably the most uneven transfer window I've ever seen for one club. It's like receiving a Christmas stocking filled to the brim with broken glass. Oh yeah. And 2 golden watches inside. It just made absolutely no sense. Tevez and Mascherano were 2 of the brightest young players in world football, had spent the summer being linked with half of Europe's elite clubs, and we're supposed to believe they like to spend their youth writing tactics of Alan Pardew and stuck in a dressing room with Nigel Quashie. Someone grabbed their agent to drown him in a bath. The poor lads. 2007, Michael CHOPRA to Sunderland. For a man who seemingly hates Sunderland with such a blind passion, I'm not gonna lie, it did smack of wild desperation to see Michael CHOPRA hold up the Sunderland shirt in the summer of 2007. So desperate was he to get a crack at the big time that he essentially sold his Geordie soul to the devil, swallowed his pride and signed for the club he's learned to despise since popping out of the womb. 2008, Tyrone MEARS to Marseille. This made no sense, literally no sense. Listen, I know Marseille love to fill their squad with random rubbish from the Premier League, but this was just insane. Had they not watched Tyrone MEARS get ripped apart every week in the Premier League? Yes lads, he was playing right back for Derby during the 11-point season. A season which should have had half the Derby squad executed at dawn. But no, instead in August 2008, MEARS went on trial with Marseille, without the permission of anyone at Derby County. A surely sackable offence. So yeah, MEARS ends up in France on a loan deal, despite having proven himself to be about as youthful a right back as I am a Chinese dinner lady. They'd soon find that out for themselves, only letting him waddle onto the pitch 4 times, but still, what was the point? 2009, JULIEN FAUBERT to Real Madrid. One of the weirdest transfers I've ever seen in my life. This was one of the last times Real Madrid went slumming in the bargain basement for bang average players. It was like a multi-millionaire choosing to do his food shopping out of a bin, going cap in hand to raid the bench of West Ham for someone who was viewed as their worst ever player. Just why? This was 6 months before Madrid embarked on a world record spending splurge. I still don't understand why they did it. He had one job at Madrid, sit on the bench and just look natural. And he couldn't even do that right. Look at him, he's asleep. 2010, Bebe to Man United. Look, I get that Man United have indulged in weird transfers before, but this just takes the biscuit. Spending over 7 million quid on a lad who didn't even have a Wikipedia page. On a lad who couldn't get a game at the Homeless World Cup, who would almost make you start to question Sir Alex Ferguson's mental well-being. Yes, the likes of Javier Hernandez were uncovered diamonds in the rough, but not this guy. He was predictably terrible, only played twice, and that was the end of that. 2011, Dale Jennings to Bayern Munich. Liam Marston nowadays reminds me a lot of Dale Jennings, a young lad who's traded British football for the lower Bayern Munich while he's still in his teens. Hopefully it works out for the young lad in Germany, like how it has done for Jadon Sancho. But Dale Jennings is no doubt a cautionary ghost tale told to young players by their agents. In 2011, he was plucked out of Tranmere Rovers at the age of 19 and thrust into the Bayern Munich reserve team. I'm just surprised anyone in Germany knew who or what a Tranmere Rovers was. It was a strange move, albeit exciting for the young winger. It didn't work out. He was spat out to Barnsley 2 years later, MK Dons 2 years after that, and now, at the age of 26, he's playing in English football's 8th tier with Runcorn Town. Poor fella. 2012, Edgar Davids to Barnet. Everyone thought it was strange enough when world superstar Edgar Davids linked up with Tottenham in 2005. Yeah, sure you want to sit in the midfield alongside Jermaine Genius and with Leon Pio stuck at left back, but this was just weird. A man with a glittering CV. Here he was being announced as player coach at Barnet FC. He gave himself the number 1 jersey and lined out in League 2 every second week. 2013, Mario Götze to Bayern Munich. This one was all about timing. 1 month before a Champions League showdown between Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund, the Bavarians announced the signing of their rival's best player. Maybe it was a tactical move to announce it in April, you know, a mental mind game being played with Dortmund a month before the biggest game of their players' lives. Either way, this one was strange. 2014, RADAMEL FALCAO to Man United. This just made no sense. Back in 2014, Manchester United needed top quality defenders, or maybe not even top quality, just someone that wasn't Tyler Blackett to stick in their defence. I don't know, maybe a block of wood, a 4-poster bed, a cow, anything would be improvement on that young man. For Christ's sake, Louis van Gaal just watched his side concede 4 at MK Dons. Surely, this was the wake-up call needed to strengthen their backline. Nah, instead he added yet another forward, the ludicrously expensive loan deal that was RADAMEL FALCAO, the lad who had just spent the best part of a year out injured with a busted knee. His arrival turned the squad very top heavy. At the time they already had Rooney, Van Persie and Welbeck. He simply wasn't needed. 2015, Serge Gnabry to West Brom. Maybe this transfer wasn't that weird. Arsenal loaning out an exciting young talent to a relegation threatened club. Fair enough, it happens. What happened next was definitely weird. One of the most exciting German talents around, Tony Pulis relegated him to bench warming duty, playing him just once in the Premier League. This was a squad which were giving 14 starts to Victor Anichebe, letting Callum Gamademan play half their games, and yet they were were seemingly above giving Serge Gnabry a chance. A fellow who'd grow up to smash 4 goals on Tottenham's home turf? Madness. 2016 Stephen CAULKER to Liverpool. I would love to know Jurgen Klopp's rationale behind this one. It's your first transfer window at your new club. You want to show that behind the manic persona is a brilliant football mind, and so you choose to sign Stephen CAULKER on loan. A lad who only the previous month had formed part of a defence which was demolished 6-1 by your own players. And so here he was, drafted on a loan and actually chucked up front for 10 minutes against Arsenal. What a weird one. 2017 Fabio BORINI to AC Milan. This was just sad to see how far AC Milan had fallen as a club that they were now forced to tie up loan deals for relegated players. After netting 7 goals and 50 games for Sunderland since signing a permanent deal in 2015, and yes, after getting expelled of the Championship, AC Milan were snapping up on a loan deal in 2017. But why? He doesn't score goals. Did they lose a bet or something? Have you ever seen a Mackem in Milan? Yes, and he's absolutely brutal. 2018 Eric CHOUPO-MOTING to PSG. Again, some sort of weird story. I get that PSG might have emptied their transfer budget the previous year, but still, were they really now forced to tying up loan deals for lads who'd just been relegated at Stoke City? Was that the price they paid for spending more than £300 million on 2 strikers? He just scored 5 in 30 games at Stoke. What business does this fella have at PSG? Put out the cones in training? 2019 Kevin Prince Boateng to Barcelona. Kevin Prince Boateng is a journeyman footballer whose loyalty doesn't really exist. For Christ's sake, he's played at World Cups for Ghana after lining out at underage level for Germany. You might say he's the German Declan Rice. He's also moved clubs 12 times in his life, and he's still only 32. In January of this year, a man whose previous 3 clubs have been Las Palmas, Eintracht Frankfurt and Sassuolo was now signing for Barcelona on loan. Yes, that club love a weird signing. Paulinho and Thomas Vermaelen anyone? But really, a washed up Kevin Prince Boateng? Can't say I understood that one.